traders, let's set sail and head on over to Scott Bauer. He's standing by. He's the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy, and he's got a look at a couple stocks that are on his radar that he thinks we should be dialing. Scott, we're going to go from sea, I said set sail, on over to bring you in,
air.
but we're going to the air. Let's take to the skies here. Let's begin with the airlines. Coming off the heels of Southwest American's earnings releases, what are you seeing here and what's going on with some of these big names?
You know, obviously very good. The expectations weren't real high, and we're obviously seeing capacity numbers down. Much of that is due to the 737 MAX. So, you know, what's happening here? Well, they've got, a few less seats to fill. They're able to get higher prices, and things are looking really good here. Obviously, oil prices help as well, though I will tell you a little known fact that many people don't know is that American really, they don't hedge their oil prices. Most of the other airlines do. American does not, for whatever reason. But the airlines are looking really good. And, Alaska comes out after the close today, and, it's probably going to follow suit. And if you look at the option market here, Ben, options don't trade very robustly in Alaska Airlines, but there's been a lot of call buying today, probably just, off of the heels of the reports that we've seen from American and Southwest.
Scott, this really feeds into what we've been seeing. I noticed that Delta actually bottomed out recently. We're looking at some of the expectations for Alaska here right now, $262 a share. But I noticed again that Delta bottomed out last week, or 2 weeks ago it was, when they reported overall better than expected for the most part. Earnings and net income for the quarter grew by something like 13% it was. But certainly they've been a victim of some of the consolidation or the weakening market, I guess you could call it, steady drops in volumes in terms of air cargo. Now, I noticed that we've got some gains there in, I thought it was Alaska Air, that's right, relative to some of the other majors. What are they doing, I wonder, to set apart? Because if you take a look at Spirit, they're kind of on the lower end of that spectrum in terms of gains, in terms of recent price activity.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Alaska's done really well ever since, they took over Virgin Atlantic, I think it was a few years back. And, they don't feed into a lot of markets. However, what they do is they're really good at it. Mm-hmm. Plus, they have those great looking tails on the aircraft, with all the different polar bears and stuff. But no, in reality, they're hitting on all cylinders, and I expect that to continue.
Yeah, potentially breaking some trends here depending on what time frame you're looking at in some of these airlines. We just took a look at Spirit, which is actually up here, enjoying some gains here today as well. Or I'm sorry, Love enjoying some gains up on the day by about 5.5%. Scott, in terms of the technicals, what are you going to be watching here? Because I'm looking at Southwest right now, and for me it looks like the 58.77 level. Whether you're looking Southwest or American, can you talk some of the technicals?
Yeah, and Southwest, exactly. I was going to say, the 59 area, I think you have to be really careful about. In American, listen, this thing has been trending below the 200-day moving average for the better part of a year and a half, almost 2 years. So I don't know that, we get up there quite yet. However, it's certainly something to look at here. It has really held the flat line around the 50-day moving average. It's made a real nice recovery, coming off of where it was. But, that's kind of what I would look at in American.
Yeah, we've got some trend price activity to the downside here as airlines have been coming under pressure a bit. But again, getting a little bit of a lift here today into earnings. Let's move on here, Scott, because we've got Gilead Sciences also, which is going to report on the close. Expectations are for about $1.74 a share, compared with about $1.84 a share in the same quarter last year. I'm looking for revenue to come in around $5.61 billion. What do you have your eye on?
So the key for them is they have a hepatitis drug, which I think has some competitors, and it's how long that's going to stay in the marketplace. How long are they going to have that patent for? And to me, that's going to be key here. From a technical standpoint, you look at Gilead though, and since basically a year ago, even maybe a little bit further back, we've seen some continual lower lows and lower highs. Now, the lows have kind of stagnated all around the 60, 61 area, but the high points have really kind of gone a little bit lower, and we are trending back up towards the recent high that we saw just about a month ago. I'd be awfully cautious going into earnings on this one from a technical standpoint. And I think that, you know, the downside makes sense here for a trade. Longer term, again, it's really going to depend on their hepatitis drug. But for a trade, I'd really look at the downside here and do something where you limit some risk with, you know, buying a put spread or a calendar put spread or something like that. But, you know, Gilead is one, Ben, that typically doesn't move a lot on earnings.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the expected move here somewhere about 3 to 4%. So typically doesn't move a lot unless there's some big outlying announcement.
All right, well, we'll continue to watch that $60 level to the downside and some of those lower highs and some of that trend-type price activity we've seen in terms of resistance right now to the upside for them. Scott, really appreciate you joining us here on Midday Movers. Traders at Scott Bauer. He's the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Time for a quick break, but coming up, my